Hey guys, I'm going to try and keep this sort of short. I'm struggling with breathlessness after having done my second injection of Plegridy 3 days ago. I injected on Tuesday night. We're now on Friday. I had my temperature was up for a couple of days, and today it's now gone in the opposite direction and I'm now hypothermic, hence the blankets. This is quite possibly the longest I've been sitting up in the last 3 days as well, because every bone in my body is aching. This video isn't really for me to kind of just keep saying the same things after every injection that I do. This video is actually more about coronavirus. Self-isolation and hand washing and self-care are the messages that we are all being given, told, having thrown at us from every media platform possible 24 hours a day. I, like so many others, fall into the vulnerable category in terms of contracting the coronavirus, but also in terms of recovery and response to treatment. People who, like me, whose lives are quite often plagued with illness anyway, you know, it is all about being sensible, and as far as I'm aware and as far as I'm concerned, everything should be handled with good measure. You know, the instructions are to be washing your hands, the instructions are to be making sure that you're not having unnecessary contact, you're not unnecessarily putting yourselves at risk. For me, that means that I won't be attending gigs that I've bought tickets for, most of which are Christmas and birthday presents for my wife, but we won't be going to a number of events that we've already got tickets for, because that's putting myself, even in my wheelchair and in between injections, being able to get out of the house for the sake of my sanity, if nothing else. But the coronavirus at the moment is what is being focused on, and that is an area where the NHS are doing everything that they can, and God love them, the NHS don't receive anywhere near as much support or praise as they are ever due to get. I personally, I am not concerned about me catching coronavirus. The likelihood of recovery from it, again, I'm not in the luckiest of people's brackets, but in the same breath, I'm an optimist. Pretty sure I'm probably only still alive now, to be honest, because I'm an optimist. You know, my immune system is compromised. My general health is poor. My life is no longer what would fit into the brackets of, I hate using them, but normal. I don't like the word normal either, but I'm in the process of having to take medical retirement from work, and at the age of 34, doing a job that I absolutely love and I'm extremely passionate about. It is heartbreaking to now be in this position. The process actually started a few months back, and it is the right decision. But ironically, inadvertently, I kind of have been in self isolation since September of last year. Um, Aside from, you know, a day out here in the fresh air, a day out there doing something else, maybe a night away in a nice hotel with my wife, just nice little things for the sake of my sanity and the fact of that, we're basically houseplants. All of us are. We need water and we need fresh air and we need daylight. That's as simple as it is. And those three are the absolute basics. I'm always drinking water, but the other two I have to leave the house to get. And so, in terms of self-isolation, that isn't really an issue for me. But people coming into our home is. We are asking and expecting everybody to wash their hands, take off their shoes. And these are measures, simple measures that everybody should be taking at the moment. Unnecessary contact with people. Family members, they don't need to be hugging and kissing every 5 seconds for you to know that the love is there. Just simple things. If a visitor comes to see me, my parents are being very sensible in terms of no contact and stuff like that, so they'll come and see me, but they will sit on the opposite side of the room on the other sofa. No hugs, no kisses. They don't need to do those things. I'm an adult. I know my parents love me without having to wrap me up in a great big cuddle. Friends are being really sensible as well. To be fair, my friends over the years have gotten very good at making sure that if they've got the slightest possibility of carrying anything, that will catch up via phone call or message as opposed to coming to the house. And these are all small things that really do make a huge difference. So bear with me. I don't really know why my chest is hurting me so much today. Don't anybody say, have you got coronavirus? Because no, I haven't. I think it's muscular. I've said it I don't know how many times in this past week. I'm not concerned about me catching coronavirus because I care more about my family, about my wife, my children, my parents, my in-laws. I care more about the people I love catching coronavirus than me, because I already know the things that I've fought through and come through the other side in this past decade. And my God, the irony, if I was to catch coronavirus and that was what actually was the final nail in the coffin, well, 5 years of chemotherapy already, 13 years of living with MS. I've been everything from blind to paralysed. So I'm not scared for me, but I am scared for the people that I care about, because that's the person that I am. I am an optimist, and I'm sorry that this this is probably the most disjointed seeming video I've ever shared, but I really am struggling with pain in my chest and with my breathing today. My temperature may have something to do with that, but I think it's probably muscular because my body isn't getting to move around much because I have not got the energy and I can't afford to collapse at the moment because I can't afford to end up anywhere near the hospital. So I do hope that this finds everybody well, and I hope that those of you in the same sort of position as me, living with a chronic illness, who are very much already have been and are being forced into self-isolation, actually I hope that mentally everybody's doing okay, because it is a big adjustment if it's something that you're not used to, and I will check in with you all in the next couple of days, and hopefully I'll be doing better, so that I can at least get a slight breather, pardon the pun, before my next treatment in like 10 days time. So look after yourselves, wash your hands, for God's sake, wash your hands, don't touch your face, take your shoes off when you're coming into the house, don't be hugging and kissing everybody. More importantly, don't let it get inside your head, because if you're already a warrior like me, you'll be okay. And if you're in good health, then just make sure you're doing the best you can to look after the people who may be vulnerable. And don't be selfish. It shouldn't have taken strangers looking around for paracetamol. It shouldn't have taken friends who I haven't seen for years to selflessly source paracetamol for me last week ahead of having had my treatment this week. It shouldn't take that. So just before you go clearing out the supermarket, just think about people who actually continuously need things like paracetamol and ibuprofen, people who aren't able to get out to the supermarket very often, so when they do go, they actually need to do a full proper shop for hygiene purposes, and baby products. People are clearing the shelves of baby products. Well, every mother, father, parent, grandparent, guardian, anybody that's looking after a baby will be continuously going through the massive amount of baby wipes, nappies, all that sort of stuff. Even baby milk. Just think before you start buying so much stuff that when you come through the other side of this current pandemic and you haven't caught it and you've got a stockpile somewhere in your house, there are other people who genuinely are having to scratch around to find simple things for themselves and their children. So just be kind, guys. It's as simple as it is. Look after each other and check in on your elderly neighbours. Check in. And by that, I don't mean go round, have a brew and spread your germs. I mean a simple knock at the door or window. Just ask them if they're okay. Ask them if they need something. If you've got a neighbour or a friend or a family member who's got a chronic illness, whose immune system is compromised, drop them a message. Ask if there's anything they need while you're going to the supermarket or shop, so that they don't have to and come into contact with the hordes of people who, instead of self-isolating on their day off work, are going and emptying the supermarket. Look after yourselves. I'll speak to you all soon.